Yes,
Loud,
we can hear.
loud and clear, loud and clear.
Oh, great. Awesome. Karibuni, welcome to today's meetup. My name is Mark Orina. Before we begin, I don't know if you guys could hear the music. At some point, I got carried away. I forgot I was moderating, and this was a work event as such. But yeah, I don't know if anyone knows what music I was playing. If anyone does, you can just put it in the chat. Let's see if you guys, I love her music generally. So before we begin, as I said, my name is Mark Corina. I'm one of the AWS User Group Kenya co-organizers with Adeline and Tony. I don't know if Adeline and Tony are here. I think they are. You can just say hello to everybody before we start.
Hi everyone, I'm Adeline Makoha. Tony is not around for today. Mark, you can
okay.
proceed.
Yes, and there's also Samuel. Some of them are not here today as we speak. Also, before that, you can introduce yourself in the chat if you can. Yes, Thames. Someone knows, yeah, Thames. Definitely. So you can introduce yourself in the chat. Best way to introduce yourself, you can just say your first name. Hi, my name is this. Secondly, you can say, let me see. Have you made any achievement this January? No, that's too much pressure. That's too much pressure. Just say, hi, my name is whoever, and we can go on from there. Yeah, so just say hello on the chat if you can, so that you can see how many people are tuned in as such. Yeah, Kevin is here. I remember Kevin from last time. I see Kwapo and the rest of the people. So just say hello in the chat as we go on. So before we start, as I've said, I've already introduced the co-organizers. For today's event, we'll actually be hosting some AWS community builders, really great people, all of them Kenyan, actually, in different fields, on AWS, in engineering generally, and they'll just be giving us their experience on AWS. There'll be a bit of a twist in a real sense, in the sense that they'll be giving us the experience, the key takeaways from it as such, and how you can also maybe be part of it going forward. So house cleaning before we start. If you have any questions, hi Moses, hi, how are you doing? Before we start, there's some slides that will be shared about AWS Recap that is more comprehensive. If you want to really learn what happened on Recap, so we want to really do a deep dive in that. We feel like that's already been done. So we won't really be touching on that. So we'll share that after this meeting on WhatsApp. So we do have a WhatsApp group whereby people meet, and also we'll do maybe a mailing list and share that, and also on our social media on the same. So we'll share the slides that were there. So the slides, if you're not really a slides person or reading person, we will do video by Veliswa, who's one of our developer advocates in Africa, and the rest of the people at AWS. And lastly, any other reInvent supporting documents. The housekeeping thing, Twitter handles, social media, on how you can actually join the community. We're trying to start 2023 with a bang, and to have that consistency going forward. And I'm really happy that I've seen we're kind of catching up on that. Great. I see a lot of people have said hello. So before, yes, we'll kind of talk about that Delphi at some point, at least towards the end of the meeting, and also on the chat. So we'll find a way to kind of do that. So before also we kind of begin, we always love to celebrate wins. I see on LinkedIn a lot of people doing certifications. So if you've done like a certification and you finished it in January, that's a really huge achievement. You can also say, hey, I finished the SciOps or the associates, solutions associate or data or whatever that you've done. You can also just share it on the screen, not on the screen, rather on the chat, and we can always just apload you for what you have done. So without further ado, I see it's already 2:10. I will ask our guests to come up on stage and just introduce themselves, the people who will be kind of taking up today's meeting. Yeah, so I'll just ask them to, if they can, put on the videos, then you can be able to start. There we go, Barbara. Hello, Barbara.
Okay, hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Barbara Tisi. I am an Epic systems analyst in healthcare. I am based in Seattle, Washington, and I'm happy to be here today.
Great. Hi, Barbara. I don't know what time it is. As usual, Kenyans always ask, so maybe what time is it?
It's 3:11 a.m. for me, but It's a Saturday, so that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you for waking up early. I'll ask Maureen to go next. Then Terence, then we think we'll go Kevin, then Frank.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. My name is Maureen Chebet. I'm a DevSecOps engineer at Safaricom here in Kenya. I've been in the field for the past 5 years, and I've been fortunate to have a diverse career spanning across different industries. I've worked for both startups and enterprise organizations. My focus includes automating infrastructure, CI/CD, pipelines, and I'm excited to be here today, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Terence?
All right, I think it's me next, or is it Kevin?
It's Terence first, then me.
Okay. Thank you, Mark, for having me here in your lovely community. My name is Terence Chibire, and I don't think I'm I'm a visitor here. I think I'm one of the resident guests. This is my third visit to your lovely community, and I'm immensely grateful for the invite. I am an AWS or cloud technology trainer, and I work for Azubi Africa. And I'm happy to see some of the people on my chat. We've engaged with them as my former learners, as well as the other people on the chat, people I've engaged with in your community in the past times I've been around. It's awesome to be here. Over to you, Kevin.
Okay, thank you, Terence. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the invite and the community. So my name is Kevin Waithaka. I am a senior consultant at Devoteam GmbH in Frankfurt, Germany. And I specialize in DevOps infrastructure monitoring, like tools with Datadog, ALK, among other things, and also with a small specialization in security operations. So lots of compliance, like EU compliance, etc. So I'm really glad to be here and appreciate the people we interacted with in Las Vegas. Terence, Maureen, it was a pleasure meeting you, and also Barbara as well. Right. Thank you.
Thank you all, everyone. It's nice to be here. My name is Franklin Monde. Most people just call me Frank. I am a cybersecurity engineer. Currently, I'm working for Cisco, Poland, for the past about 8 months. So it's nice to be here. Thank you, Mike and Adeline, for the invite. It's my pleasure to share the experience and some of the insights that we gathered from reInvent over at Vegas. So I'm looking forward to the session, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Great. So before when we actually kind of go on, I think I've met Frank, I've met Kevin, I've met Terence, and I think it was the first reInvent recap that we had, I believe, in Tangaza University, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes. Last year we had,
Right.
year we had an event recap a year ago, and it was like the first event after the lockdowns were coming to an end, and it was very, very beautiful to host the awesome Veliswa Boya with us at Tangaza. So yeah, we did meet a good chunk of your community members, and I think we had a very lovely event on that day.
Yeah, I remember it rained heavily that day. That's one thing I remember.
Oh,
yeah, but there was a lot of really good food. I can remember that, and it was a warm community generally. So it's really good to see that how we've grown, and I think we can have more meetups, either virtually but mostly physical. I think those are really good. So just to start us off, I'd kind of ask you guys, what's your definition of reInvent? There's the definition whereby it's all these people come together to Las Vegas, but in a real sense, like, what do you see reInvent is, especially that you guys were actually there? So what does that look like? And also, what was your experience like? When I say experience, what was one of your key takeaways? We'll kind of get to the personal part of it later. We can start with that. I don't know if Kevin is speaking. We'll start with Terence, then I think I'll go to Frank, then probably we'll go to Maureen next. Yeah, then go. Yeah.
Yeah, reInvent was shock therapy in its own rights to me. I can tell you it was a big thing. It was a very big event. I don't think in my entire life I've attended such a big event, and the atmosphere, the place. I mean, Las Vegas for me was out of this world experience. It was pretty big. Everything was awesome. So I engaged. And at reInvent, I engaged massively with almost any and everybody, from the hardcore techs. Like I think on Tuesday I attended the boot camp, whereas there was also a lot of very beautiful keynotes where I think we got the opportunity to firsthand hear those announcements as they were going out. And for me, it was a learning experience mixed with networking, mixed
who also come now with the awesome stuff that they really want you to know and understand how they also leverage on cloud, on AWS specifically to do that. But aside from that, I think for me the most awesome thing was actually networking and meeting people. I think a couple of which very so, of course, Victoria Simon, if you know Victoria, Linda, and of course Jeff Barr. So part of it really was the networking bit. That was the really amazing thing. And then one of the things that AWS did differently for this past event, something that they introduced that was called as peer talks, whereby you could book a session with any AWS employee that you want to speak with. You go sit on one-on-one. For instance, if you'd like to speak about security and such, book a session, sit down with them, and get how things are done at AWS. So for me, I think the networking bit was really quite awesome. That's why I think I met Maureen in person for the first time. We worked previously at Safaricom for almost slightly over a year, but we actually never met. But no, so that's part of it. The networking bit was quite awesome. Aside from that, I think for me, the one thing that I always look forward to for any reInvent at the keynotes, most specifically by the ones by Dr. Werner. Those are usually quite awesome. If you ever watch those Steve Jobs shows and all that, that's kind of, it reminds me of that. And this year it was quite awesome. If you've not watched it, please go to YouTube right after this and watch it. It will be 1 hour worthy of your time. Yeah, so for me, that was quite, that's all, that was quite amazing.
Just before we go to Kevin, or I think Maureen rather, so you something that you've mentioned is keynotes. There are Aspire talks, if I got it right, like one-on-ones and boot camps, right?
Yeah.
And also other sessions as such. So essentially, other than those are like breakout sessions that you actually have. So I don't know, did you do any boot camps also that maybe you learned a few things, or any other like walkthroughs that you did? I think I'll ask Frank and Terence.
Myself, I did a developer boot camp. Oh, sorry. Myself, I did a developer boot camp. I think that was on Tuesday afternoon. And the keynotes, I think I attended all of them. And they were super lovely, especially for we who are from the community builder. We were given, privileged access. If we got there on time, we were sitting on the front row and we were seeing the action up close. So yeah, and I think also, did we have the so-called chalk talks? I think there was some.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, there were chalk talks also. Yeah, and those were also, I mean, the technical trainers and the technical staff who are there doing the chalk talks. These guys know their stuff. I tell you, they really. It was. I would say it was a deep dive into technology. Sometimes it could shake your soul. I tell you, some of these guys understand AWS at a whole new level. Yeah.
Thank you. I think, yeah, Frank, you can go then. I think I had Kevin speak. So also, Kevin, if you want, you can jump in. Then you can go to Maureen and rest.
So for me, honestly, I didn't really do the boot camps that much. I feel like there are quite a lot of, I've been doing quite a lot of that in the real world, and even the various training platforms by AWS, for instance, workshops.aws. So I really didn't go into the boot camps. I prefer to meet people. That was one of the things that I was really looking for, to meet people. So I spent most of my time in and out of the peer talks, as I've told you, and just trying to network with people and see what other vendors are doing. I did attend the keynotes really, because it's just 5 days and there's just so much that you want to do and you want to learn. So I think for me, I really didn't, but they were nice. They were really amazing sessions, as Terence has rightly pointed out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Kevin and Maureen, I don't know, you guys can also give out like your experience, your definitions and stuff like that. Yeah. Kevin can go.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so Reinvent for me is, or rather was, a very surreal moment in like the tech life, or rather there's nothing like Reinvent, to be honest. Like, you really have to experience it up close and personal. And I would say AWS Reinvent was filled with a lot of experienced and non-experienced technical engineers, sales individuals, like people people with a lot of experience, with zero experience. Like, everyone was welcome, and you could share and socialize and like interact with every individual, and you'd see what passion they had for Amazon AWS and what they're willing to do in terms of like creating a career of it and making a positive impact in the tech world and society. And for me, in getting to interact with the various ISVs, so that's the independent software vendors, like, you could see from the services they produce or rather they sell for you. Like, for example, I have had interacted with a couple of ISVs, so like CrowdStrike and Datadog, and you could get demos, like live demos of the product. Say, for example, also like GitLab, you could go on up close to the vendor and have a look at the demonstration that they would show you how to use a specific product end to end, and also would show you some non-released features that would go to market in a fairly relatively short period of time. So, I mean, Reinvent for me is, it's life-changing, to be honest, because it gave me a much broader perspective of how far along my career as an engineer would go on, and what I would improve on. And it was really amazing to meet my fellow Kenyans, especially, it's been a long time, especially if you've been in Europe. It's quite different. So it's quite good when you meet your fellow Kenyans and kind of you talk Kiswahili. No, it's kind of really good. So yeah, it was really good. Awesome.
Yes, Maureen, are you there?
Hi everybody again. So my experience attending Reinvent, well, this was my second time. The first time was in 2017. At the time I went as a speaker. So most of the time everything was already mapped out for me. So for this time I went in and I was very intentional of the sessions that I really wanted to attend, the workshops that I really wanted to attend. And this was a great opportunity for me. And I believe even the team feels the same way, to learn about the latest advancements, trends, and best practices in the field. I continued to see an emphasis on the growth and expansion of the cloud, as well as the focus on security and compliance. There was a lot of talks around machine learning. I think it was a focus on the ChatGPT. So at the time, it wasn't full blown as we are currently seeing. And as fellow tech, I encourage all of you to continue to stay informed about the latest developments and even take advantage of the many services and features that AWS has to offer. My highlight from reInvent was the hands-on workshops. So this was my favorite part because I got to work in with my laptop, deploy modern applications, but we had guided speakers who would tell us what to do, how you're gonna deploy something. Also the networking, I got to meet Terence, who is a very vibrant person. Anyone can attest to that. Terence, you know how to talk to people, you just bring a positive energy to the room. Also, the expo hall was one of my favorite halls. After the sessions, I would walk into the exhibition area where attendees can visit different booths and talk to representatives from AWS. And of course, not forgetting the highlight of the week, the replay party. It was sick. You heard of Coachella, it's something close to that. It's super fun. So you have to just be yourself on that one night. It's amazing. So guys, this year is going to be a different year. There'll be awesome stuff again. So let's take another chance and attend the event. So yeah, basically that's it.
Yeah, I think one of the announcements they had was the AWS Code Whisperer, which they've been rolling out for a while. That it's like GitHub Copilot. I think that's one of the really cool things. I've used it a bit. It's helped me a few places. So I think that's one of the things that I really liked about that. Okay, now we can kind of really dive into this. So one of the things we talked about is the hands-on workshops that are there, expo halls and stuff like that. So I'd start with, how did you guys get the opportunity to actually be part of reInvent? So how was that like, being able to either apply, or what was that like for you guys as such? I'll start with, I guess I'll start with Frank, then Terence. Oh, and actually Barbara. I actually, so Barbara, you'll go after Frank, then Terence will go next. So Frank can go.
So for me, I think one of the things that I constantly do is that LinkedIn is usually open on my devices at almost at all times. So one night after work, I get into LinkedIn and then I see this post by Jeff Barr. I post so whereby you could apply as a builder, write an essay, something about yourself, what you've done to the community with respect to AWS, and then it was about 2 months of waiting so that you could get that particular invite. So I remember I saw that chat and then I shared it with a couple of friends and I applied myself. So after about 2 months, I got that invite and it was kind of amazing because, it was amazing. I mean, that was, I think for me, that was the first time I actually went to US and specifically Vegas. You see Vegas in the movies, but it's kind of different when you are actually there and feel it. It's a city that never sleeps. So that's kind of how it went for me. I saw a post by Jeff Barr. I went, applied almost immediately, waited for 2 months, and then I got in, and it was amazing. And if given the opportunity again, I think it's something that I definitely do all over again. So I think that's pretty much how I found myself at reInvent. I think I'll just hand it over to Barbara.
Hello, everyone. Again, this is Barbara. So how I found out about reInvent was I do use some of the AWS tools in my job. I work with a lot of data as a data analyst. So we have like subscriptions to AWS, and just working in that space, I'm constantly looking to see what new things are coming up. Healthcare, cloud storage, that's a big thing right now. So I was on LinkedIn too, and I think I saw a post from, I actually cannot even remember how I found it, but I had attended a different conference similar to AWS with it's an Anaplan. It's called Anaplan Live. It's one of the softwares I use in my work. So I really had a good time there, and I decided that I'm gonna try to attend these conferences, especially with remote work now. It's really hard to network with people. So then I applied for the Builders Grant. I actually kind of forgot about it. And then, like after 2 months or so, I, got the invitation. And for me, I like to learn. I like to know what's going on. There's so many changes happening in tech. I can't keep track of everything, but I try to, stay, kind of know what's going on. And I feel like the good thing about reInvent is they do a really good job of trying to fit everything in those 5 days, even if it seems like a lot of days, but 5 days is not enough. I work with different vendors. So for me, they had something called the lightning talks. So you'd go to these vendors where they had like their booths, and then they would talk about like specific topics. AI, machine learning was huge. For me, data integration is always a big thing. ETL, APIs, like it's always hard to get data from one place to a different place. And for me, that was the biggest thing. I just seeing all these changes that AWS has going on and meeting other people who, do similar work, and also just meeting those people in person after like 2 long years of not having those in-person events. So yeah, that's just my experience in a nutshell. And I would definitely say if you can go, please do. I mean, there's no way to kind of explain the experience in words. You would have to kind of be there to know. So yeah, definitely life-changing and a good experience.
Maybe just kind of dive into that, because basically you're leaning towards data. It's actually an interesting kind of field. I've not really touched on that. So what kind of tools do you use on AWS as such?
So we use a lot of different tools, but so basically in the work that I do, the biggest thing is getting your data to make sense, or transferring data from one place to another. And one of the biggest issues we are having in data analytics is those ETL tools. Like just that transfer is such a pain. And specifically in like my job, I don't just use specifically AWS. We have different vendors, different companies. Like I said, I've used Anaplan. Anaplan is a business planning software tool. They also work with AWS. So for me, it's always harder with data. It's always like, how can I get my data to make sense, and how can I make it make sense fast? And so AWS, has different subscriptions that you can kind of pick and choose depending on whatever packages you have as a business. So for me, also with healthcare, I feel like specifically in the US, we're very slow to adapt to change. And if AWS is showing you like, I mean, we have hospitals data governance, like it's just a lot. And I feel like AWS does a really good job of helping you have everything in one place, So like data interoperability, security is a huge thing, AI and machine learning. So for me, it was really interesting because AWS is like, we know what you want and we got it all in one place, and we're going to help you make it painless. So yeah, that's the biggest thing that I learned. And so you get to see the different vendors, who are and partners who work with AWS, and it's really cool to see live, the different vendors that I'm actually using their products and not really interacting with them.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. Terrence, you can go.
Okay, my journey to reInvent was quite long, and my journey to reinvent is very much what I would call a community journey. Kevin and I go way back, and I think I still want to make it a community thing because I was blessed with good friends in the past, one of them being Kevin. What I want to say about him is it was not just that, like, for example, I have a problem with this development thing, so help me. Yes, that is part of it. You know, there's that friendship whereby Mark have come to pick things from you. But there was also a community thing. It's not just me picking things from Barbara, from Mark, from Kevin, but it's also, it was like we had like a community thing where we previously worked, whereby if something came up, we easily shared. And one thing that Kevin shared with us very openly was, he had shared with us very many things, very many good things. But one thing that he shared with us, but this one he called me and told me, boss, do this, was the community builder cohort 2. That's when Kevin and I joined. He was applying, but he also shared the link with me and told me, boss, apply for the community builder thing. Then I applied. That was like 2 years ago, and we were both taken in. And it was, I mean, you should have seen how much noise we made on LinkedIn when he and I joined the community builder. Then the next thing that came was the grant in 2021. I applied and I got it. He didn't. But something happened. There was COVID lockdown. I think God was just telling me, how the hell are you going to go to Las Vegas without Kevin after all is done for you? So I didn't go to Las Vegas on 2021, and you can imagine my heart was crushed. But another interesting thing happened. Kevin applied in 2022 and he also got the grant, and you should have seen when we called each other how much noise we made. We were like, man, I must see you in Las Vegas, because he's coming from work in Germany and I'm coming from Nairobi. Of course, we have a lot of Kenya stories to tell, and it happened. Eventually it happened. So yes, that's how I got. It was the All Builders Welcome Grant that took me there, courtesy of the AWS Community Builder, where I'm a member, and I've shared in the benefits of that community, as also, but I mean, also made my own personal contribution there, just like Kevin and the other many wonderful builders are always making their contribution. So I can say it is a community thing, and it is we benefiting each other. So let me just say, if Kevin never gave me the link to join the community builders and never called me and told me, Chibire, you must apply for that thing, I would have been like, just here. But that one thing, I obeyed. He told me, I obeyed. The rest is history. That's how I got myself at Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. So I'll kind of dig deeper and also give context to the audience. One, to be able to get the AWS Community Builder grant, I think you have to be a community builder. So the first thing you need to do is to become a community builder, join the community building program. Then now from there, you can actually get one of the practices to become to get to Las Vegas as such. So I think that's one thing you need to do and be really active in that sense. So I'll just go back to how you guys got the opportunity. So what is it? Because maybe before other people didn't get. What is it that you found that what you wrote, and also what have you done in the community that you feel like really pushed you to the fore, that you guys actually got the opportunity? How I mean is, how do you actually put yourself out there in terms of your work, what you've done and stuff like that to actually get to AWS community and also to get the grant as such? I see Babs is here. So Babs, I'd let you go. Then I think Kevin will go. Then Maureen, you can go next.
Actually, I wasn't a community builder when I got the grant. Just in case anybody wanted to try. I know the what is it, deadline just passed, but I guess there's a wait list. I actually got there's a different grant that I did my first certification through. It's called She Clouds. I can put the link in the chat. So I think it's women's only, but there's so many other ways to do it. But what did I do to stand out? I just I don't know. I was just honest with what I put down on the application. I wasn't trying to create a narrative that doesn't exist. I just you know, I was honest with why I want to go. I wasn't I actually did ask around before I applied. I was asking some people that I knew, like my networks, like, what is it that I need to do to stand out? And they said, just really be specific with how you answer. I think there was like an essay question, if I remember correctly. Just really be honest and just tell a story. It's really hard to
Great. I think definitely if you can please share She Builds and She Cloud on the chat, that would be really great. I think more ladies coming into tech and cloud would be, amazing. I think Maureen, you can go next.
Sure. So for me, I've been an active member in the community way before community builders. So I've been posting on Dev2. I've been posting on medium.com. So at the time, I didn't actually know that this is something that is bringing audience. So I would just, if I'm deploying an application on an EC2 instance, I just go write the solution, how I did it, post it in the dev, or I recently started writing on Medium, so just to widen my audience. So when I saw the grant post on LinkedIn, I said, oh, let me give this a try. At the time, I wasn't a community builder. So I applied as a community builder January last year. And the results for the grant came in earlier than even before I was confirmed to be a community builder. So it was just two blessings at the same time for me. I got introduced to AWS the first time in 2017. My then employer had collaborated with AWS to equip youths in Kenya in the AWS technologies, and I was among the first group of Kenyans to do the certifications. I did well. So the first event was taken by AWS themselves. And at the time, this was my first time to travel abroad. I was in my second year. I didn't have a passport. When my boss was asking me, do you have a passport? I assumed that he's asking the normal passport from the cyber. So I went, did a research, and the process was very smooth. And then that was when now I got to travel and meet these technical people. And that was the first time that I really believe my career began. So my passion in tech and being the minority as women in tech is something that we need to bridge. So for the grant, it's geared towards diversity, especially women. We are very few in the industry, so I believe there is more room for us. So yeah.
I think actually from what I'm getting, you can actually get the grant despite being a community builder. So one thing what I love about this, so sorry for that miscommunication. Well, I think one thing I'm loving about what you guys are saying is you guys put yourself out there. You just see something, you're like, yo, you know what, I'm applying for it. So I think please, if you can, put yourself out there, apply for these things, and you might actually as well actually be able to get it. Let me see. So my other question would be now, I think Maureen kind of touched on this. So you've gotten the opportunity to, go to Las Vegas, Furai, you've seen the email, everything. So essentially, how did you now prepare to go for, to Las Vegas, right? What was that journey like from once you got the email, passports, passport, everything, and all those things. So how's that journey like for you? And mostly in the lens that, what if someone's planning to do it, what should they look out for? Wajipange mapema in that sense, right? So I don't know. I'd start with Terence because he has a lot of definitely.
So I was always the first guy who went to the chopping board, and I can tell you, I was there alone, and I had never visited North America before, so it was slightly daunting. I did not like filling in the DS 160, but my other friends who'd been to the US told me, hey, take that thing seriously. They had given me their tips and tricks. So I applied. And then you go into the portal and you're being told, this is imagine 2021, you're being told the earliest because of the COVID lockdown backlog, you're being told, we have a visa interview for you in 2027. You're like, but reInvent will be gone. And you're like, now what is this? On the other hand, Biden government is new and it's not saying anything about opening the country. It's like, you guys wait until sometime in November of that year, we will tell you. So I just communicated and I opted to push it to 2022. And I think it was very good because now I found myself in this team of my fellow countrymen. AWS is, I mean, reInvent is big. You really need, in Kenya, you say, unahitaji mbogi yako ukiwa huko. So, eventually late 2021, I don't know who it was, but somebody gave me a tip and trick. He told me, like Friday night, deep in the night, check on the US embassy now that Biden has opened the country, check the portal. Normally what happens is when all the interviews have been done during the day and those interviews that have been done are taken off the calendar, when the calendar opens up, it shakes up a lot and it will pull the year forward. You'll find a good, and I was able over, I think February last year, I was able to bring the interview to March. I did the interview, it was pretty straightforward because I think we had been deliberate. The DS-160 form, I was very deliberate in filling it in. And I think later on, when I was talking to Kevin while we were preparing to go to Las Vegas last year, we helped each other fill in that DS-160 form. I mean, be comprehensive. I did not imagine that. I did not imagine that the American government can ask you so many questions. I mean, I was like, you know, when you start comparing it with these other visas you picked and gone to these other places, like, what is this? Come on, all these guys. But just be honest, comprehensively fill it in. I went for the interview and I had already heard of the horror stories that people say, you know, these guys will harass you, there'll be so much. And I went there panicking, but my interview did not go beyond 5 minutes. And I think it's because if you've already filled in the DS-160 form properly, the rest is smooth sailing because I can complete for you how my interview was. It was just that passport, I handed it over to him. What work do you do? Told him. Why do you want to go to the US? I told him. He asked me some textbook question about cloud. I gave him the answer. Then he looked aside and I thought the no is coming. Then when he turned back, he was with a light blue A4 paper printed out from the printer and says, I'm allowing you to travel to the US. Best of luck with all your travels. So, you know, I was shocked and I had gone with all those stories Kenyans tell me, come with all the title deeds of your family, all your bank statements, etc. He did not, I was about to tell him, Mr. Wait, there's something you've not had a look at, but ako kashetani kalikuwa karibu kuingia, but something told me, take that paper and get out of there. So I put it in and in the folder and I left. And that's the way it was. So, unajua kierere ni mbaya. Don't go tell him that there's something you've not seen. If he's given you, he's given you. You're through. And also, I think when now you land on the US, the other gentleman you'll meet first when you're the point of entry into the US, the guy will also put you through a similar interview. I really wanted to see this second one after I landed at JFK. And it was very similar to what had happened in Nairobi. I think they really have you figured out and they have your data. And if you're being truthful and everything adds up, I think there's not a lot of problems. But I guess sometimes problems will arise here and there, and maybe those can be looked at from one-on-one, because some of our members whom we would hoped to be with in Las Vegas got the grant and they had to postpone. But the problem was they were denied a visa. I remember our good friend Emmanuel, he was not only denied the visa, and also when he applied again for that to be relooked into, he was denied a second time, and it was really, really sad. So, I mean, for me, it really went straightforward. I really did not have much challenges on that side of things. Although I know some of our members had that problem.
Is it that you are wearing an AWS t-shirt during the interview? Were you wearing a tie?
No. Actually, what I did, I went there very formal. I took, I took my business suit, and then you know that red tie that Donald Trump puts on the day he's going to cut a deal, the red one. I put on that one.
Okay. Thank you. Great. I think I'd seen Kevin. So, hi, Kevin. Another thing I'd definitely want you can give is logistic-wise. Like, did you have to either book a hotel? What does that look like? And also intentionally picking the sessions that you want to go for, so as not to be overwhelmed. So you can go. Yeah.
Okay. So reInvent can be very overwhelming. So you just better pick your sessions a week before, or even earlier, because you will run out of free slots, because people all over the world are booking everything, and you want to get the really good sessions are already pre-booked by people, and there's an app that Amazon provides. It's called AWS Events. So you just sign in with your Gmail or something, then it will already have all your details. And there's a portal that will be provided by Amazon. So you're just filling your profession, where you work for, who do you work for, and like it will have your ID. It will be already pre-filled. So you'll upload a photo of yourself, and it will have everything of your details. So using that portal is where you will also be able to book your reservation for the hotel. So this is already paid for by Amazon. So when you book so we were given Treasure Island. I think most of us were given Treasure Island to book. So you pick a certain date. So we were supposed to pick about 5 days for the event. So using the same portal with all your pre-filled details, you just book the days you want to stay there, or that are pre-filled. Then you should add a debit card that has the AWS account, so you don't pay anything. So after that, just download your invoices and just have them somewhere. Well, so when it comes to logistics for yourself, I would say always be prepared for anything. Things happen, and you're in another foreign country, and you wouldn't know who to ask for help. So I would say just carry extra cash on your pocket. So like I would say maybe 100,000 should be fine, just in case of anything, things happen. And well, the sessions are really packed. You were lucky enough to get a session slot, because as a community builder, we were pretty lucky to get like a VIP pass. So you just go in line and be like, oh, you have the badge, so go to the front. So for me, you just have to pick the sessions as early as you can and as quickly as you can, because the good sessions are already taken, and some of the sessions are paid, but you get them for free. So yeah, so always be prepared when going for such a trip, and be prepared for the long jet lag. You're gonna be tired, layovers. So yeah.
Great. Frank, I don't know if you're there. Frank?
Yep. Yeah, I'm still around. So, yeah, so
Also, just so also you can add on to what does the grant cover in terms of what you got? What else does it cover? Airfare, whatever, and all those things. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it pretty much covers it. That's why I say these I don't think there's any industry in the world that currently does what AWS does, ranging from diversity, equity, and inclusion to all these awesome events that they have. So it's a pretty comprehensive package. I think what the other folks have not told is that aside from the hotel, it's a round trip. It's a round trip airfare, because for me, I was coming from Poland, so I went from Poland, Germany to US, and then when I was coming back, I came back to Kenya and I didn't pay a single cent. So that kind of tells you, how whatever it covers. And then once you get there again, you are given a debit card that's already loaded with $50. So, if you want to like buy certain food somewhere, also the food is provided there, but you can just feel like maybe you want to drink some morning coffee from somewhere else. So you get a $250 debit card that you can only use in the US. And then aside from that, again, you're given an Uber gift card that you can use to move around within the US again. So it's pretty comprehensive. I think you pretty much have everything, but as Kevin has rightly pointed out, things happen. I remember for me, I missed one flight from Houston to Vegas. I kind of misplaced my bags, and I was not sure whether it was in US or it was somewhere there. So I missed that flight while still trying to locate my bags. By the time I realized that the bag was still in Germany, the flight had already left. So I ended up sleeping on in an airport bench for a couple of hours before the next flight. So things happen, as Kevin has said, just be on the lookout. But AWS pretty much covers everything, and there's a lot of things there. They give the free jackets, the free T-shirts, quite pretty much everything is there. So that's pretty much. I don't know if that answers the question, Kevin.
It does. I think someone had asked a question about Catherine, but I think that was answered. I don't know if Terence want to go answer it a bit. Then I'd go to the next question, but I think Terence, if you want to say something, then I'd go back to Babs and Maureen. Yeah, go on.
And other than that, I would say that the All Builders Welcome Committee was very organized. One, we were well received. I was there all the days of reInvent. We were well received, so we can say on a Sunday evening, we had drinks at the Link High Roller. Then Monday morning, we had the All Builders Welcome Breakfast. I think on Wednesday, we had the mentorship luncheon. On Thursday night before replay, we had the farewell dinner. And then after that, we went for the replay bash. And they were really engaged, and they even gave us, for many of us, they gave us the mentors. And if you feel you really need help, you leverage on all the help that is given to you. Like, last year I had a broken leg, and when I was leaving, I'd traveled a while before moving to the US. So yeah, I could walk, I could put on shoes, the cast was off, but there was some pains. And Jessica, as well as Julia, they reached out, how is your leg? Mobility assistance. I found an interesting culture that is very inclusive, and they really look out. They look out for you, and if there are problems, you just let them know. What I really found in your strategy, some of you, Mark, who will be going this year should, they told us you should be between events. If you're leaving one room to another, take like 30 minutes. But let me tell you, Las Vegas is big. The strip is super big. Kevin, Frank, these guys can tell you, Barbara, we were having events. Of course, Venetian is the main hotel, but stretching from the Wynn on the upper side of the strip, and there were events going on the lower side of the strip at another hotel, a big one, Mandalay Bay. So I think it would be logistically wise, and Maureen advised me this. She told me, next time do this. Don't choose like an event here, an event there. Do this. If you've decided Monday, I'll be at Venetian, you just ensure you do your events Monday at Venetian too. Because they say 30 minutes, but in full honesty, Mark, you need 2 hours. The place is big. You need 2 hours. And by then, that other event is already ongoing. So from a logistics point, I think Maureen's advice made, excellent sense to me. If you feel like maybe this is Monday and I want to spend day one's event at Mandalay Bay Hotel, I would rather you also do your morning, your afternoon events there, and then maybe you can come for the keynote at Venetian now at 7 in the evening, because the movements, even just walking from the Wynn to Venetian was really tough on me because I had a broken healing leg. So I was really feeling it. And that's also saying it's good to be in company. I'm happy I was in the company of my countrymen. If I collapsed and fell down like my friend from South Africa, you know, there were other South Africans to pick him up and take care of him. So you're understanding what I'm saying? Nilihitaji mbogi yangu huko. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Maureen, are you there? You can kind of touch on how did you prepare yourself for the event? Did you share a plane with Terrence? I don't know if you did. We agree, Aji, in that sense. And also, how was like your day 1, 2? Did you wake up at 3 in the morning, prepare, whatever, that kind of thing? Yeah, go on.
So for this trip, we went separately. The good thing with the grant, once you've booked your flight, you are not pinned like you need to travel at a specific day. No. So I traveled a week before, and prior to that, I ensure that all my sessions were in line. So the sessions are from level 100 to level 400. So level 100 is the foundation. So if you feel like you're not an elite or a high level expert in a specific area, I'd rather you choose a level that you're very proficient in. So for me, I chose the level 300 and 400. So, and you would choose sessions from hands-on workshops, technical sessions, and you don't have to go for all the sessions, because there are sessions that they are still available on YouTube. So for me, and I'll advise anybody to choose the sessions that you can have your hands on, the chalk talks that are not aired on YouTube after the event. So that was very easy for me, because I would go to the specific sessions, book the sessions that I really wanted, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't get overwhelmed with the in a day. I would, like Terence had mentioned, for me, I made sure that on a Monday, I have all my session at one venue. Tomorrow I have sessions on a different venue, and I didn't want to overwhelm myself in terms of, in the morning I would have my sessions, say for the keynotes, they normally run in the morning at 8 in the morning. You need to be there earlier, 6:30 you are on the queue. But for us, since we had the grant, we were given a specific a leeway or an advantage to go to a different, not the normal line that the rest are using. So that was very an added advantage for us. So during the day, I would have like 2 to 3 sessions in the morning. In the afternoon, I go to the expo hall to meet the vendors, to get my swag. There are some booths that had this gym, what is it called? The bikes that you can go and ride. You can go and just have fun. You can enter into like a box with flowing money that gets stuck on you, and then whatever you get, $100, it's yours. So I would just wanted to explore the learnings as well as the fun part of it. So after, in the evenings, we could have mixer where all the builders meet up, all the grants meet up. You have a good time just after the all morning sessions. So just find what works for you. There are sessions that you can walk in, there are sessions that you can book. That works for you, just book them in time when the portal is open. Yeah, book them right in time, and please have a good time when you are there. Don't be a whole professional. At the same time, don't forget to stretch a little bit. Yeah.
Great. Barbara, how is it like for you? I think you said you're in Seattle, right? So how is it preparing for that? And also, maybe did you carry maybe your networking cards, or maybe looked at LinkedIn better? How was that like, just preparing for that? Yeah. And maybe what could you have done?
For me, it was my first re-event. but I have attended other conferences like this. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge that all Builders Grant staff are very thorough, like Terrence said. They are very organized. They make it easy for you. What I wish I would have done that people discussed is as soon as the sessions were available, I should have went and picked the ones that I was interested in. It kind of threw me off a little bit. It kind of was a little overwhelming because reInvent has up to what, 50,000 people. So you can imagine how much that is. I had been to Vegas before, but this is a totally different Vegas with reInvent. Much better. I mean, I can't even go back to Vegas because it's not going to be the same. I just know it's not going to be the same. And what I mean by that is, as much as you're going to learn new things and you're going to, see all the changes, it's kind of like a work conference, but, have fun. And also networking was huge for me. I've realized that these days, obviously, the way to get opportunities is through the people your network. And these conferences, I've gotten opportunities from other conferences that I wouldn't otherwise have ever had if I wasn't in the room. So, for me, networking was my huge, I also planned on seeing the changes. Like I want to keep up with the changes. There's a lot of changes happening, but this was a good place to actually see demos and all of that. So I kind of centered my experience around those two things, networking. I could have done a boot camp or, hands-on stuff, but I was already doing that, at home. So I just wanted something different. But, if you're learning something and, you're trying to work towards your certification, please sign up for the boot camps and sign up early. And then bring an extra suitcase. You're going to get a lot of swag and free stuff, basically, t-shirts, just a lot of stuff. And also look at the weather. Vegas is a hot place. It's a desert, but those evenings and mornings can be very cold. Get comfortable shoes because you're going to be walking a lot. I can't emphasize on that more. And then what else do I feel like? Yeah, I networked a lot. One of the things I do have business cards, but I don't literally go everywhere with them. But everyone has a badge. I usually take a picture of the badge. For me, it just helps me remember, or I pull up my LinkedIn right away on my phone. They have Wi-Fi all around. If you're worried about that, you're going to be connected. It's fine. It's complimentary. But I tend to take a lot of notes too. But what I did was I took pictures of people's badges, and it will have like your name and organization or different levels. Every badge has, like sponsors, AWS partners, community builders. And then also one thing I just highly emphasize, take advantage. AWS reInvent is $1,799 to attend, and you're pretty much going to this thing for free. Food is free. You want to go to Vegas and experience the nightlife. You have complimentary events just for you. There's places that you'd have to pay like $500 just to get in, but because you'd have the badge, it's free for you. So I usually tell people to really research and take advantage of things that are offered to you for free, because you're winning anyways and you're not spending any money. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in things, but if it's free, why would you pay for it? You know what I mean? And then also the community aspect. It's just phenomenal what the Community Builders Grant does. It's just if you're worried about like you'll be out there by yourself, you haven't traveled out of the country, I guarantee you before you even get there, you'll feel that sense of community, and it gets even better. And put yourself out there. Everybody's in the same boat. You guys came for Community Builders Grant. I met so many people, made so many connections. People are willing to help. Just do whatever it takes to connect with as many people as you can, and ask for, hey, I see the work that you're doing, you know, look up people too on LinkedIn, you know, don't just go and say, hey, I applied for a job at AWS, can you help me? No, you know, people like to talk about themselves. Research people ahead of time or quickly glance at their LinkedIn. And then that way you can have something to start a conversation with. But yeah, definitely take advantage, apply. Apply. If you don't get in, apply again the next year until you get in, I would say.
Great, thank you. I think we're kind of coming to the tail end. I think by 3:30 we'll
Mark, let me
done.
interfere.
Yeah.
Mark, let me interfere a little bit. I think we have John on the call, although he had excused himself, he would be at work. He was one of the Kenyans whom we were with at reInvent, and he's based in Dallas. So I don't know if John is able to come and give his insights, or if he's just only in listen mode or something. I've just seen him on the call, but he was one of the people we were with. He was part of the Kenyans who were out there. John Nyetuny, I don't know if you're able to speak or you're still very much at work.
Thanks. Thanks, Terence. As you said, I indeed excused myself because I traveled on Wednesday and just came back literally 3 hours ago. I just arrived home like an hour, 30 minutes from North Carolina. But just a takeaway, I just want to say, first of all, thanks for the organizers for putting up together all these reInvent sessions for us to recap and share with the team. The only thing I could talk about is that, yes, the event was very fruitful. I learned a lot. That was my first AWS event to attend, though I had attended one for Microsoft some time back, but it was not as big as the reInvent one. One thing that I would say that I wish I had done earlier enough was actually to pick the sessions that actually suit what I wanted. I had picked a few, but I did not take my time to go through all the sessions and only select the one that maybe I thought were ideal to my field of AWS data analytics. So I ended up joining one or two, but I realized that I missed quite a number. Another thing that the takeaways from there is the network that I was able to meet. That is the number of people that they have now become part of my my success in the career. So those are the things that I would say were very important. But all in all, I want to say that reInvent, if you can be able to attend, is one of the eye openers and one of the milestones in your career. It will open up more opportunities for you. It will link you up to more networks. I know someone that I met, I think he was from Egypt and he was able to make some network, and right now he's coming back to Dallas to work for a company that he met the manager, the hiring manager, while in Vegas. And when he went back to Egypt, they were able to connect. He was interviewed, and I think he's coming back in March to work as a solutions architect for that company. So those are the things that maybe when you come, you start as much as possible to build a network and also grow that network, and it will actually open an opportunity for you. Other than that, thanks for those who spoke before me. And I believe those who have attended will stand a better chance to benefit more, even if they didn't attend. Thank you so much.
So Mark, something about John that he may not have said, but this also links to Maureen. I did not know John before we went to reInvent, and Maureen knew him. And we already had the community thing going, you know, the reInvent WhatsApp. Kenyans were very good with WhatsApp groups. So on the morning of the reInvent breakfast, all builders welcome breakfast, a gentleman reaches out to me and tells me, you must be Kenyan. And I'm like, yeah, you're right on that one. You must be Terence Chivire. I'm like, yeah, you're also right on that one. And I'm like, where do I know you from? It's like, I am John Ngetuny, and Maureen told me to look for you. So you see, from the word go, I was well taken care of, or we were taking care of each other. So we are hoping even you guys who are going there later on in the year, just keep yourselves networked. And now you see, I have very many friends all over the place, and even there were people who were looking into meeting me even before I reached there. So it was that wonderful. My stay in North America was that wonderful because of all these good people who are on the call.
Oh, thank you.
One more thing, John approached me. I didn't even know there was other Kenyan people there. And so, like I said, if you feel like you're worried that you'll be, alone, there's gonna be communities. There's gonna be people like John who reach out. So once I met John, and then I met Terence, and then I think I met Maureen when I met John as well. But yeah, so don't feel like you'll be there, you won't know anyone, and also look out for each other, just like Terence said. Oh, and then I met Kevin too, just randomly, So yeah.
Great. If you have any questions, I've seen the audience do have questions. If you have any questions, you can I think ask on the chat also, and I'll let you speak at some point to go on. So as we're coming to the tail end of this, I have two more questions. One is how do you keep yourself abreast of, let's say, cloud news and AWS? I think that's the first question. So just very quickly, so that also I think you can finish by 3:30. So how do you kind of keep abreast of this? Because clearly you guys are very informed individuals, you're driven as such. So how would you kind of advise someone to, just keep up to date with all these things as such? I'd start with, I think I'll go with Babs. Barbara, you can go. Then I think Kevin, then John. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm a curious person. So I like to research things. And I know that the IT changes a lot. Can I keep up with everything? No. Do I try to be intentional? Maybe once a week, I take some time and, really start to search and, see like cloud. I subscribe to a lot of newsletters that are, IT based, or depending on cloud, or if it's Web3 that I'm interested in. And so they deliver them to my email. And then that way I can, read up on those things. I also just follow people on LinkedIn or companies, just searching around keywords like cloud, or, what's going on in the industry, things like those. So I like to read, I like to research. I do research for my job. So for me, it comes easy. And then I like to also follow people who are, experts in these industries as well.
Oh, great. Awesome. So also one of the things you can do is also follow them. So if you're okay with that, you can also share your LinkedIn on the chat, the speakers, so that also they can follow you guys. I think Kevin was next. So Kevin, then John.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna echo Barbara's statement, because like on LinkedIn, follow the right people, because like I know a person like Jeff Barr, he does a lot of blogs and he shares a lot of his technical expertise. And I would say build your network on LinkedIn, especially. Also have a look at the blogs on Medium, dev.to. So lots of cool stuff in there. And to be honest, I would say it's just more of personal research or work-related research. So when you do, like, say for example, you're researching an issue or a bug you wanted to fix. So on doing that, like, you get to learn a bit more. And when you keep on doing that, you slowly become an expert. And you also have to diversify. You just don't have to know like only AWS or like a specific service. You could just branch on, because in tech, like everything depends on each other. So like say for the AWS, you depend on monitoring services, you depend on like container services, you depend on compliance services or software. So I would say do a lot of research, follow the right people, and yeah, I mean, you'd go a really long way, to be honest, in this tech world, in AWS in general.
John?
I believe what I would also say is one is join a group like the AWS User Group Kenya. That is one of the best avenues for you to keep yourself abreast with the latest technologies. Two is pick a certification that you want to take and start learning. Once you do that, you will always don't want to leave AWS. You always still be there. Three, as my colleagues have reiterated, follow the right people, be very active in LinkedIn. Look for podcasts, look for sites that you can always visit that talk about any cloud technologies, not necessarily AWS. You can start from Google, you go to Azure. Like for my case, I was not an AWS enthusiast when I started. I started in Microsoft Azure, but when my company changed and moved it to AWS, then that's when I started picking AWS. So, and there's so many paths that leads to certification in AWS. So choose one path that you think is very, very, very good for you, or that is something that you want to follow. And yeah, before you know, you will be up there wrecking those numbers in AWS or any cloud technologies. Follow us. We'll be available to guide you and to help you. I believe some of us have shared our LinkedIn profiles. Let's connect, let's talk, and let's see how we can help you.
I think, Maureen, Terrence, then I think Maureen and Frank can
Okay. Where learning material is concerned, and this one I really want to emphasize where community builders are concerned. I'm in the training and certification realm, so keeping abreast is slightly easy for me because in 6 months' time, what was at reInvent will be in the certifications our learners will be doing. So the community builders in the house, there's a resource you have, CA, Cloud Academy. It is a very powerful resource and it's so highly curated. I am addicted to Cloud Academy, in full honesty. Use it well, and also use it for the benefit of the community at large. It is one of the best. I don't know, maybe Kevin can help me here, but we have studied different people and we've loved many different gurus from the days we used to read the Linux Academy, Adrian Cantrell and the likes. But I think after we got Cloud Academy, we were just on top of the world. It took our careers to just a whole new level. So the community builders in the house, that resource, please, 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 please do not underestimate it. The Cloud Academy team has done some of the best work to curate some of the best content we guys have ever come across in the world. I just really highly recommend it.
Yeah, also look out for offers on Udemy. So pretty cheap, like 1,100, that 1,200 Kenya shillings. So just look out for offers, never pay full price, honestly, because why not? So yeah, it's really cheap and affordable. So once you get a course on Udemy on offer, just buy it. It will be really resourceful. And also once you join Community Builder, you also get free vouchers. So that's a good benefit.
Maureen?
Yeah, so just to echo what my colleagues have said, I've talked about the online courses and tutorials, all this, you can have all these resources at your disposal. But I feel like the best thing that you can do to yourself or you can give to yourself is also to have that curious mind, yes, but you need also to experiment with new technologies. Because when you go to the real life, the solutions that you're going to provide for the customers, you need to understand the technologies behind it, even if it's the most mundane project that you're going to do. I've seen in the technical interviews, they normally ask the most basic questions, and that is what you actually need to know to understand the most basic of these technologies that you're going to do. Well, try out the new technologies and tools in your own projects to gain hands-on experience and even stay ahead of the curve. So I think you cannot read all the industry publication, take online courses, but if you don't actually have that hands-on, you might not have your craft well aligned to what you really want to do. And the customer won't even really understand what you're trying to solve if you don't have the hands-on experience around it. Yeah.
Okay. Frank, actually, as just a break before this, just to see if everybody's kind of, alive to what's going on. I think AWS announced a new local zone. Is it this week or something? So if people can put on the chat which one was it, don't Google, just be fair to yourself. Just write down what zone came out. Yeah, you guys know. Okay, people, I don't know anyone who has used it, but yeah, I think Lagos was one of them. Really interesting to go with. Yeah, Frank, you can go, then we can kind of have closing remarks. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike, once again. So I think pretty much everything has been said. At the end of the day, there are usually two things. Putting yourself out there and luck plays also some kind like plays a role in a lot of things that you do in life. For instance, but for you to have the luck, you have to first of all put yourself out there. That's when you can get lucky. Otherwise, you'll just be somebody trying to do things that don't even know where they're headed. So follow the right people, and I think Jeff Barr is the chief evangelist of AWS. So pretty much anything new that is coming out, he'll always have an about it. People like Victoria Seaman, she usually, if there's an offer for training on AWS, she will post it. She will post about it, and you can just go there and get the free vouchers, because as Kevin has said, why not if it's free? So follow such people. Don't be shy about speaking or rather asking somebody how they got to where they are. And the other thing that Maureen has also said is about, having that hands-on. You can have all the certifications, but at the end of the day, most employers are a little skeptical about, employing somebody that don't actually have the hands-on experience. So for me, my go-to resource for doing hands-on experience is I'm going to post it on the chat, is workshops.aws. So from that link, you will find everything, every possible lab and scenario that you want to do in AWS, from security to DevOps to everything, every kind of labs that you want to do. So have that, make your portfolio, document your projects, work on GitHub, right? If you the kind of persons who like to write stuff, and make some noise. And at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get somewhere. So just do that one thing that makes you stand out a little bit. So make some noise on LinkedIn, post about there, speak about it's there. If you see somebody trying to solve a solution and you've ever met that same exact problem, give them the solution, provide the links, that kind of things. But above all, be curious. And as Timo Werner said, not Timo Werner, sorry, as Dr. Vogel said, the doctor said, just have that curious mind. And I think also, if this is the last time I'm speaking, I just want to say that, it's amazing, amazing community that we have here. And we met 1 year ago and we've made some great progress. So as people who have really tried to get it off, we are always there to assist, or rather to answer the questions, the curiosities and all that. But I wish you well, go build great stuff out there.
Yes, I see we're kind of running out of time. Just to maybe close off, unless there's anything else, Adeline, what we're going to do is you're going to give your closing remarks, and the main thing people came to listen to, honestly, was what swag did you get? What was your favorite swag you got from the reInvent? I think that's the main thing most people kind of came in for. So I'd start with Terence, then we can go on from the closing remarks before we just make any few announcements.
Actually, it's hard to say because one reinvent is swag galore, but you see that hoodie, the warm hoodie that Frank is putting on, I really cherish the one I received, and I'm sure he's also putting it on with a lot of it's one piece. It's really one lovely piece when you are in Las Vegas and that chilly morning you put it on, going to maybe the Wynn to pick your breakfast. You're like, AWS was very thoughtful to give me this one. I mean, I'm really feeling cold. Deep in the evening, the wind is blowing from the mountains into the desert, and you have it on. Really say, this is a good one. This is a good one. I mean, it's special. I've received a lot of swag from AWS, but that particular one, I cherish it in a way.
Even has some nerdy stuff inside there for a JSON policy for AWS. So kind of nice. They have AWS, they have their own way of doing things.
Okay, great. Kevin, Maureen, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, so much swag. I think, yeah, you need the extra suitcase, to be honest. You need one completely empty. So like as Terence has shared, we got hoodies, so many pairs of socks. I think Terence has a lifetime supply of socks and t-shirts, and I think I have one from CrowdStrike. It's an action figure thing. It's a robot thing. Yeah, I mean, it's really great, like going to all the vendors and collecting the swag. I think you can do like 3 days worth of collecting. Just get stuff and put it in your suitcase. And well, I mean, everyone should attend reInvent this year. Like, you really have to attend it. It's surreal, and yeah, continue building on AWS and continue connecting, and yeah, work on your career and push forward.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned almost what I wanted to say, but overall, the experience, the conference was huge success, and we are excited to see the amazing things we as customers, even as who leverage on using and building new solutions in the cloud. And this reInvent, I brought so many swags. I came with an extra a duffel bag and shared with my team. And I actually took swags based on if it's a colleague that is proficient in GitLab, I got something for that team. If you're good in big data, I got a T for that person. So I wanted to have a connection with the different skills that my team had, and I was picking according to that. I have one of my favorites. So okay, I got a book, Modern Data Protection, by this O'Reilly. Curtison Preston is the writer, and he also gave signature on it. So currently I've been studying the current data explosion that we are experiencing and how AI is going to take over very soon. So it's my favorite thing that I get to read every day. It's like a morning routine for me. I read it. I'm so far halfway, so at the end of the next month I'll be done and maybe give a summary of it. Yeah. So let's continue building and have an amazing year ahead. Please, let's learn, keep learning and relearning everything that you have at your disposal. Thank you for having us here. Thank you so much.
John, you wanna go then? I guess Barbara.
Yeah, what I want to say is that I think the biggest takeaway for me is, when cloud computing was still new. Many people were worried of their jobs. I remember my DBA telling me then that this thing is coming to take away our jobs. But when I went to the reInvent, I saw 1,001 startups that have been started because of cloud computing, be it CloudWatch, be it big data solutions, alternative ETL solutions, security, all those startups. So it is something that if you are thinking of having, innovating something that will go into solving issues in AWS, always believe that solutions are there because the problems are there. So there are so many issues within AWS, and if you can come up with a solution that will solve one of the problem, then you would have made your millions or billions. That is, when it comes to swags, I'm very good in collecting stuff from companies that I've worked for, and those are water cups or the water mugs. That is, I'm trying to build something in my own office that, hey, when I look at it as like, hey, I work for that company, I've gone for that conference. And then to me, the water mug or the water mug that I collected from AWS is one of the best swag that would always remind me that I attended AWS. Also the badge, it's hung here. That AWS badge that you get, it's very handy. So anyone that wants to join reInvent, start building something, be a member of the AWS builders. And you know what? Start watching outside there. You never know when those offers will be coming to your inbox for you to sign up, and maybe you might be lucky to be in Vegas this year. Thank you. Thank you so much for those who came up with this idea.
So for me, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. My biggest takeaway is, you belong to that space, in as much as, people of color are so underrepresented in tech. Own the spaces, occupy the space. You have a right to be there. Utilize your resources, connect with people, keep networking. That's how you're going to land these opportunities. And then keep building. And for me, my best swag was actually the backpack that we got from the builders. Constantly traveling for work, and I have to carry like a laptop, an iPad, folders. But I've tested so many backpacks, and that specific one that we got from all builders, we got a special backpack. I guess you have to be a community, you have to be get the builders grant in order to get that backpack. It's just been, man, it's my favorite swag. I kind of got a little overwhelmed with swags too. I don't like to, I like to travel light. But I tried my best to, we were told, we were prepared in advance that bring extra, suitcase for the extra swag. I can tell you it's 100% true. And it just depends. There isn't a favorite part for me. It's, there was just so much, endless swag. So keep learning. Please apply to go to reInvent. Like I said, if you don't get in, apply again and again and again. It's a wonderful opportunity. And thank you again for, including me to speak here, Mark.
Great. Unless there are any more, comments or conclusions, what we're going to do is we're kind of finishing off. So some of the announcements we've made, I've seen a lot of people have already joined our WhatsApp group. We will share the AWS recap, the slides, the video of the EMA session by Veliswa and the team, and any other supporting staff on Twitter and also on WhatsApp, so that you guys can go through that even more. And also you can go to reInvent on the website and actually see what else is there. One thing I'd also kind of encourage you guys is just go for the webinars. I think someone mentioned that. Go for the webinars that are there and any other mini AWS events. Just be part of that and just learn from there. I think that's a very good way to be curious and stay to date. Next, we have our Twitter handle that we have, and also LinkedIn. I've shared them on the chat. Follow us. We'll try and share as much as possible there. And also our WhatsApp group is a place to learn and sharing all the opportunities that are there. Unless there's any other thing that is there. Adeline, is there any other thing I'm missing out on?
Hi, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being our host today. To the speakers, thank you so much. It was such an informative session that you have had. And we had at most 60 attendees. It's the climax and we are starting 2023 on a high note. So I think we'll just go to a photo session, something we can turn on our video and then we take some screenshots and then we share on LinkedIn. Yes.
Yes. Other than the panelists, everyone else can also turn on their video, see your faces, and we can definitely take a picture. I think this is our first picture for 2023, right? I believe so. Hello.
I hope you're taking some screenshots.
Kings, Catherine. It's good to actually see faces. This is really good. Daniel, I think upside down, unless it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I've seen like most of our panelists had headphones and specs. I thought maybe they were given swag. They're given that as part of the swag that they had.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. Okay, great. I don't know who's taking the screenshot or something. I'll also try and do one. You can smile. If you can. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, then anyone can take a screenshot, right? Then okay, so we can send reinvent, reinvent. So
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3. Reinvent. Reinvent. What other thing? What's AWS in Kiswahili? No, mawingu, right? I think I saw Maureen's. Someone is taking screenshots, I hope. I have 2 screens. Let me just close one that I have. Close all. Yes. So mawingu, we'll say mawingu, or yeah, mawingu actually. So in 1, 2, 3, go.
Mawingu.
Great. Sawa basi, kweni na an amazing Saturday. I think it's a really good way to start the year. Hope to see more of the faces here. Love to see you guys. Sawa, kweni na siku njema.
Asante sana Mark. Take care.
Great. Put on some music.